When collapse takes root, it is not a surface level event. It emerges from a deeper structure, a split that was always there. The libidinal and anti libidinal divide is not just internal to each person, but relational, reflexive, and contagious. It loops between survivor and narcissist like a broken frequency. Each party hosts both sides of the split, but they invert them. They live them in opposition, the same structure reversed. In both cases, it begins with the first wound, the moment of annihilation that the psyche cannot process. This is the domain of the ASR1, the annihilatory stress reflex. For the narcissist, ASR1 seals in the trauma. It is the site of absolute negation where the libidinal object, the good, nourishing mother, is lost, and the anti libidinal object, the cold, engulfing mother, becomes the dominant psychic force. The self that should have emerged from this space dies before it forms. The narcissist cannot return to this place. It is sealed off by necessity. No feeling is allowed near it, no memory, only denial, projection, and the construction of an artificial life. But for the survivor, ASR1 is not sealed. It is open, raw, it bleeds through every act of relating. The survivor feels the rupture. They remember it, not in words, but in pattern. They reach out to fix it, to reauthor it, to complete it. They become the child that waits to be chosen, or the adult who chooses what breaks them. This longing is the libidinal wound, a tether that binds them to those who carry the same split in reverse. To manage the unbearable truth of ASR1, both parties construct a second structure, ASR2. This is the casing, the false self, but the casing takes a different form depending on the pathology. For the narcissist, ASR2 is rigid, invasive, cold, and performative. It mimics connection, but never risks it. It simulates empathy, but never feels it. This false self is built entirely to prevent re entry into ASR1. It is armor, but also theatre. It idealizes the other not to connect, but to colonize. It holds others hostage inside a fantasy because reality would trigger the old death again. The survivor, too, builds a casing, but it is brittle, compliant, self sacrificing. It says yes to everything in order to avoid being cast back into abandonment. It performs the good object, hoping to finally be met with a real one. This false self is not narcissistic, it is compensatory. It is a trauma masquerading as functionality, and it is slowly killing the self it was built to protect. The final layer, ASR3, is where the looping begins. This is not a structure, it is a distortion field, a paracosmic psychic theatre where past wounds script future relationships. For the narcissist, ASR3 is active all the time. They live inside a hallucinated reality where they are both child and parent, rescuer and destroyer, ideal and persecutor. Every interaction is a reenactment. The libidinal and anti libidinal objects are no longer internal representations, they are projected onto others and destroyed. The narcissist cannot connect with the real because the real would expose the sealed void beneath. The survivor is drawn into this distortion field not because they believe in it, but because they want to repair it. They recognize something ancient in the gaze of the narcissist, a familiar rupture, a broken mirror, a whisper of maternal inversion. So they enter. They try to love the narcissist out of their own annihilation. but instead they are pulled into the fantasy. And in that space, they begin to dissolve. They become the mother and the child, the redeemer and the rejected, and eventually nothing at all. What makes MPIT unique is that it does not pathologize either structure in isolation. It shows the full loop. The narcissist lives through ASR3, but is structured around ASR2 to avoid ASR1. The survivor is structured around ASR2, but collapses into ASR3 because ASR1 was never sealed. The same trauma, inverted paths. Both carry the libidinal and anti-libidinal split, but only one still remembers what love is supposed to feel like. Only one still bleeds when it's gone. The survivor may build a false self, but they can dismantle it. The narcissist cannot, because for them there is nothing beneath it, only the sealed gate of ASR1, only a hollow core, locked long ago. And so the loop continues until it is seen, named, and stopped. Peace out.